Have you ever wondered how a group of ordinary British students became one of the most legendary and mysterious bands in rock history? Behind Pink Floyd's iconic music are stories of genius, tension, disappointment, and even madness. Today we're going to delve into the world of Pink Floyd, their full history, their secrets, and what they do today. Stay tuned because some of these stories will surprise you. Early years and background. It all started in post-war England. Roger Waters was born in 1943 in Great Bookham, Surrey. His father, a teacher and devout communist, died in the First World War when Roger was just 5 months old, leaving a deep emotional scar on him. Nick Mason, born in Birmingham in 1944, came from a wealthy family. His father was a documentary filmmaker. Richard Wright, or Rick, was born in London in 1943, into a family that encouraged his love of music. And finally, Syd Barrett, the soul of early Pink Floyd, was born in Cambridge in 1946. Syd grew up surrounded by a creative environment, with his father, a pathologist, nurturing his love of the arts and experimentation. They all crossed paths in London in the mid-1960s, united by their passion for music, art, and rebellion. Formation and early career. In 1965, the band was born under the name The Tea Set, before evolving into Pink Floyd, a name that Syd Barrett created by combining the names of two blues musicians, Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. Their first shows were pure experimentation, psychedelic sounds, light shows, and an energy never seen before. But not everything was easy. They faced enormous difficulties in the beginning: lack of money, poor equipment, small audience. But their innovation caught the attention of the London underground scene. The rise and tragedy of Syd Barrett. Their debut album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, 1967, was a smash hit. Syd Barrett was the creative heart of the band, but fame hit him hard. By 1968, Syd's mental health was rapidly declining due to excessive LSD use and underlying psychological problems. He became increasingly unpredictable, sometimes standing on stage in complete silence or strumming a chord for hours. The band, bereft but desperate to survive, made the painful decision to replace Syd. David Gilmour, a friend from Cambridge, joined him to fill the gap. It was the first major fracture, a theme that would follow Pink Floyd throughout their journey. Golden age and rising tensions. With Gilmour's polished guitar work and Waters' growing lyrical genius, Pink Floyd entered a golden age. They released The Dark Side of the Moon in 1973, a groundbreaking album that explored death, insanity, greed, and the human experience. It spent an astonishing 741 weeks on the Billboard charts and became one of the best-selling albums of all time. But with success came tension. Roger Waters, increasingly dominant, clashed with the other members for creative control. Rick Wright in particular felt marginalized. Their 1979 masterpiece, The Wall, was a concept album driven almost entirely by Waters, depicting isolation, trauma, and self-destruction. Behind the scenes, the band was disintegrating. The split and the lawsuits. In 1985, Roger Waters officially left the band, believing that Pink Floyd could not exist without him. But Gilmour, Mason, and the returning Rick Wright thought otherwise, and continued under the name Pink Floyd. A bitter legal battle ensued, with Waters trying to prevent them from using the band's name. Ultimately, a settlement allowed Gilmour and the others to continue. Waters described the experience as deeply painful, something he never fully forgave. Pink Floyd studio albums. 1. The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, August 5, 1967. 2. A Saucer Full of Secrets, June 29, 1968. 3. More Soundtrack, June 13, 1969. 4. Ummagumma, live in studio double album, November 7, 1969. 5. Atom Heart Mother, October 2, 1970. 6. Metal, October 31, 1971. 7. Obscured by Clouds, Soundtrack, June 2, 1972. The Dark Side of the Moon, March 1, 1973. 9. Wish You Were Here, September 12, 1975. 10. Animals, January 23, 1977. 11. The Wall, November 30, 1979. 12. The Final Cut, March 21, 1983. 13. A momentary lapse of reason. September 7, 1987. 14. The Division Bell. March 28, 1994. 15. The Endless River. November 7, 2014. More and Obscured by Clouds were originally created as soundtracks. 4 films, but are part of Pink Floyd's official studio album discography. Gilmour is a double album. 1 disc is live performances. The other is experimental studio tracks. The Endless River is a tribute album, based on unused recordings from the Division Bell sessions, and heavily features Richard Wright. Life after Pink Floyd and personal lives. Roger Waters continued his solo career with politically charged music. Now 81, he has been married 4 times, and has often spoken about his struggles with relationships and loss. Today he lives between New York and England and remains very active in humanitarian causes. David Gilmour has built a solo career marked by soulful guitar solos and introspective albums. He is 79 years old and is married to writer Polly Sampson, with whom he has 4 children. They live quietly in the English countryside. His fortune is estimated at over 180 million. Nick Mason has focused more on producing, managing, and writing. At 81, he remains the quietest of the members, often acting as the group's peacekeeper. Wright, who would have turned 80 today, sadly passed away in 2008 from cancer at the age of 65. He remained a gentle and private soul until the end. Barrett spent his final years in almost complete seclusion in Cambridge, concentrating on painting away from the limelight. He died in 2006 at the age of 60. Behind the scenes, trivia and records. Pink Floyd's 1994 Division Bell tour sold out stadiums around the world, setting grossing records at the time. The Wall's shows were so grand and complex that a massive wall had to be physically built and demolished on stage for each show. In 2005, the classic lineup reunited briefly for Live 8, watched by millions of people around the world. A truly emotional moment. Current status and final thoughts. Today, Pink Floyd as a band is inactive. Roger Waters and Nick Mason still tour, separately. Playing Pink Floyd classics to this day, Gilmour rarely performs, but occasionally releases solo material. There is no real hope of a full reunion, but through their timeless music, Pink Floyd lives on in millions of hearts. Their story is not just about success. It is about vision, struggle, creativity, loss, and redemption. Pink Floyd showed the world that music can be more than entertainment. It can be an exploration of the human soul. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of Pink Floyd, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next videos. Comment below which legendary band or artist you'd like us to cover next. Your suggestion could be our next feature. Thanks for watching, and until next time, shine on, you crazy diamonds.